So here we are again. Here I sit in the same chair in the same spot. Here again to talk about the year. There's some rituals I've adopted on this channel that I have enjoyed keeping up with. What's up, guys? It's Bippy. This being one of the rituals that I usually make a end of the year video. It's actually the 6th of December today. I'm recording this before, I just started a Spiffy Christmas 2020 yesterday, which is one of the other rituals I keep on this channel. But I just started that yesterday. Usually I do this after a Spiffy Christmas is already uploaded and done, you know. It's already out. I believe that has been the pattern the past couple of years. And I decided to look at 2019, which is a video I uploaded on December 31st, the absolute last day of December of 2019. I reviewed the video, I listened to it, and I found myself relating to it quite a lot. I'd say that this year had a lot of the same qualities as last. It's been this year has been full of tears. Not in the way that you might think. I wasn't really affected. I guess we could start there. I wasn't really affected by COVID. Believe it or not, I went through this whole year without wearing a mask up until a few days ago. Because it just goes to show how much I leave my house. I don't leave my house. And I went to go get my dad a birthday gift. I believe on like the first day of December, and that was the first time I had ever worn a mask throughout this whole pandemic. So it's safe to say I haven't been affected. Basically everyone around me has been, though, but I am just a unique position to just sit around and not have to go out and do anything. So this year has been I think it's been full of a lot of growth and learning, but it's been depressing. Last year I was listening to the video and I was talking about how I only released 3 edits last year, and this year I actually only released 1. Actually 2 by the time you're seeing this, which is insanely it's actually kind of comical. The first edit I released was on January 1st, right in the morning. It's like 3 a.m. And the second will have been on the 25th, the 24th, which is a Spiffy Christmas. So almost literally, the 2 edits were almost completely a year apart. Just a few days away from being a year apart. I almost want to upload it on the 31st, or like wait till January 1st. But that's not going to happen. It's always been on the 24th. And this usually always goes up on, well, actually it doesn't always go up on the 31st, but it did last year, and I like that idea. So this will be going up almost a month from now, from recording this. And one thing I was thinking about is I want to make it a lot more short and sweet. I kind of ramble and I change topics and I go on tangents and whatnot. And, you know, not that much happened this year that is to be talked about. So I think it's good grounds to make this video for this year's summary to just be a little more short and sweet and not a fucking 45-minute video. I actually wrote up a list of people I want to thank, yet I'll still probably forget people. But I just want to talk about a little while here. I want to spend a little time talking about exactly what's gone on this year. If you support me in any way, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, even if you, like, pay attention to me on a consistent basis, I mean, if you watch my streams all the time, you probably still wonder, like, who the fuck is this kid? I know nothing about him. Well, I tend to keep to myself, and I want to always let my work speak for itself. And this year for me, I'll just go ahead and say, has just been a year for learning and just taking time to really contemplate my ideas and learn what the best way to execute them, how I want to execute them. I was once again, I'm going to be using the 2019 video as a major reference, so I'll be tapping into that quite a bit. I was listening to that, and I was talking about how I have all these ideas, but I just don't know how to execute them. Right now, I'm in a place where I feel like I learned a shitload of stuff, and I know how to execute a lot of the things that I wanted to do last year. And I know what I want to do next year. A couple of things that haven't changed. This year really felt like I've still been heavily coasting off of the inertia of that viral clip, because it just feels like, it's funny how it happened almost 2 years ago now, but it happened in 2019, and yet it feels like it happened in 2020. That video has finally slowed down, and I've just still been coasting off of it, and it's finally getting to a point where I could go a certain amount of streams without people bringing it up, and it's been great, and I feel like I'm very, I'm back to where I was, really. And it's nice. I mean, you had to be there, but it's nice to be back to being kind of a small streamer that nobody knows, so I can kind of just keep to myself and just not be too bothered. So another similarity is I've still been struggling with storage, because I've been trying to figure out the order in which I want to take care of this issue. A lot of the things that I have in my computer is just a bunch of raw footage that has yet to be edited, and so it's just a matter of how I want to turn this footage into art or videos that'll get uploaded eventually to this channel. And so that's been a struggle, and it hasn't been one of my priorities, because I now have a means of transferring a lot of my storage to other devices and whatnot, and that's been good. So storage towards the end of the year hasn't been an issue. I've just been able to really just focus on learning and just really trying to hammer down what it is that I want to do. One other thing that hasn't really changed is, well, me, I guess. I mean, I think I'm just an accentuated version of how I was last year. I obviously continue to evolve like everybody, but I make these year-end videos, but I don't really look at life as like a yearly thing, or it's going to be 2021, but I really don't see it like that. I really don't care. It's not something I really keep track of. It just happens to be a thing where I glance over at the calendar every now and then, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's that time again. But it's not that important to me what day I'm in, what month I'm in, what I'm supposed to be celebrating. But anyway, these videos are still a good benchmark to really kind of review it. Just because I don't really follow the idea of the concepts of years and days and whatnot, it's still good to keep tabs, I guess, and you only have to do it once per year. You only have to look over at that calendar and say, oh, well, see, and I like ritualism. I like doing things on the same day every year. That's always very fun to me. That's why I like doing these Spiffy Christmas and the end of the year, and evolving things as time goes on, and just changing little nuances about how I execute things, and growing and just making things better and more palpable. So I want to talk about editing. Editing has been on my mind a serious amount this year. When I think about editing, I don't think about last year or the year before. I think about my last decade of being alive. I think about the 2010s and how that, from like 2013 to 2020 was just my editing career. And I came to the realization in 2019 that I'm not done editing. And it wasn't even a realization, it was more like a confirmation. It was like I was seeing people around me quitting, and seeing friends leave the community, and seeing people complain about the community and saying, oh, this shit's pointless now, and losing people, and just seeing people say see ya. And even I myself was seriously doubting the integrity of teams, and doubting or just not being able to see the reasoning of joining teams. And I was like, I'm more interested in art nowadays, and I just want to edit for the sake of making cool art and just making shit that I am passionate about. And that's been my same I still kind of the same mindset. But things can change over the course of a year, and I could tell, I could definitely hear some passive aggressiveness in my voice about teams and whatnot, and I definitely was feeling spiteful about, well, I guess not really spiteful, but I was just feeling kind of integral about how it seemed like teams were becoming pointless, and I felt like I was probably a bit upset at that, and I was just like, I wanted to be a part of a team, and then I realized that teams over a short period of time, I realized that teams are purposeless, and I guess I was mad that I realized that because I was very invested in the idea of joining a really cool team and just making a lot of cool shit with that team. And then that dream, I guess, or that motive just got stomped out by my own conscience. And so I think I was just angry a little bit at that, I guess, idea. And for next year, I want to say for 2021, usually I don't make promises. Usually, in the past, I haven't said my goals or my plans. But this year, I'm actually confident. Once again, like I said, still applies. I'm not making promises or anything. I'm not confirming or announcing anything, I guess, necessarily. I mean, I'll say this. 2021, I believe that 2020 was a year of learning and a year of preparation, and I spent a lot of time just sitting, staring at my walls, thinking about the shit that I want to create and the things that I want to learn, the things I want to do, and just coming to terms with pressing the gas on my ideas, I guess, just going through with it, catalyzing my ideas. And I think 2021 is going to be the product of that. I think it's going to be my official return to editing. And there's so many ambitions, I guess, so many things that I want to come back to. The editing style that I've been picking up recently, as of like the last half year, or maybe just the last year, is way slower and just more calm and more artistic and more thoughtful and more beautiful, and to be taken very seriously. And every now and again I watch older edits, and even older edits of mine, and I think to myself, man, like, I totally forgot my own origin. I totally forgot my own editing style. Like, my style has just rapidly evolved into this totally different thing, and I forgot what it meant. I forgot how it felt to edit just to this, like, awesome, like, cool, fast-paced song and just go ape shit with effects and just creativity and just grind out this cool maybe 50-second edit or something. And I want to return to that. I want to go back to that. And as for teams, throughout 2019 I wasn't thinking about teams, and throughout 2020 I wasn't thinking about teams until about a couple months ago. And like I said, obviously teams are pointless to join, but I'll put it this way. In 2019, I was thinking of teams as being pointless to join because they don't really grant you any sort of exposure, or they don't help you in any way. They're not rewarding. And then it tops it off when you're in a team with community members who don't give a shit about you, or people who you can't befriend or collaborate with because of just the way people are. And I think within the last couple of months, like my friend Etek came back, my community long friend Etek. He's literally my first ever friend I made in the community. He recently came back during COVID and started leading teams again, and I was thinking, I just really do miss that. I miss being in a team with people that I actually know. I miss being in a team with friends. I miss, like, people bothering me about, hey, when are you going to finish this edit? Or, hey, you want to do this episode? Because I actually found myself wanting to do edits, and it was to the point where I just had this urge, like this kind of, I missed just editing, just for the sake of editing. And nowadays when I take up a project, I always charge. I always charge people money for my work, and that's been the case for years now. And I realized, I was like, man, I just really want to join a team and just help them out and just edit for them and just make a bunch of edits for these guys. Just join a bunch of teams and just edit for them. And I almost found myself not even wanting to charge. I almost found myself wanting to do it for free. And I think I might. I just miss that old feeling of just being in a team with mutuals and making friends. And I guess somewhere along the line I just lost sight of that, or somewhere along the line it just didn't feel possible anymore. But I think that as long as I know one person in a team, maybe not even, as long as I am familiar with that team and it's a team that I feel like I want to help out or something, I want to do that. But the thing is I'm not going to let a team get in the way of my personal affairs. There's way, way, way more personal edits I want to do that are on my own accord, and for me, way more than anything I would ever want to do for any teams. So, and that'll probably always be the case. So, I put it this way. I think for 2021, you'll probably see me join some teams. I mean, if you're paying attention, that is. It's not like I'm going to flaunt it or announce it or anything. I don't see teams like I used to. I just see it as a hobby, of course. And so this year, I think I'll definitely be editing for various teams. Even teams that I previously didn't even really like anymore. Like High Global. I was in High a couple times in 2018 or something, and at one point I was lead editing it, and then I wasn't. And they're just like Otto. Otto is another one of those teams. They're two teams that just keep restarting, and they can't get things up off the ground. And I just think I want to help them out. I'm not gonna. Probably I won't join. But I would love to just hit up teams or hit up community members and just say, hey, fucking throw me an app. Because I just want to edit again, just for the sake of editing. I'm really excited for that. That's really it. There's a lot of things to learn. I'm not going to speak too much about, my plans, because like I just like to be kind of, like I said, I like to let my work speak for itself, and I don't like to talk too much. I'm not an all talk guy. If I'm not doing anything, then I'm not going to be talking about it. But I like to be, you know, less talk, more work type person. And so things are just taking time, and this has been a very depressing year, and I've been really upset with myself for literally only releasing one edit, or I guess two, this entire year. But I'm pretty sure the void is finally ending. Like I said, I've learned so much, and I'm continuing to learn, and when I come back to editing, it'll be like a totally different person, which, you know, and I'm not forgetting my roots, I'm not forgetting my origins, but I just love editing, and I want to come back to it. And of course, there are other things that I still want to pursue, and I just think that it's finally going to start to blossom next year. Not because it's the next year or anything, it's something that I've been working towards for 4 years, practically. So, that's really it. That's all I want to talk about. And yeah, that's about it. I just have names. I always kind of name people off for the end of the year, people that have influenced me. Now, one thing I have never mentioned in these videos is usually I name people off and I keep forgetting people, but a year is a long fucking time, and a lot can happen in a year, and you can be cool with someone one day and not the next day. And I guess my point is that these lists of people can be fairly biased to people that I just to only people that I remember being influenced by, or being inspired by, or being friends with towards the end of the year, instead of just looking at the whole year as a collective. So if anyone who's ever left out of these lists, and you think that you should be named or something, or you think, oh, I wonder why you didn't say my name, it's because these are more gauged towards the end of the year, because that's what I remember the most. But if you know me and you think that I mutually respect you, and you think that it is mutual, then you might as well consider yourself on the list. And don't worry, I'll tell you if you're not. And this list is in no particular order. So I'll just start. First off, one of my best friends of all time, Neko. He was, of course, on last year's, and I just have so much love in my heart for this dude. There was a time, like last month, where he lost his ability to go on Discord, and I was worried about him. I was wondering what the fuck was going on. I couldn't get in contact with him, and luckily he came back. I mean, I found out what happened. He just lost his computer temporarily, and I was just heartbroken. And this dude has just been such a wonderful friend to me, and he's just such a wholesome person. And it's crazy that I have cool ass friends like him, and I just have so much love in my heart for Neko. He's just a wonderful, wonderful dude, and I hope that we remain friends for a very, very long time. And yeah. The second person is Chimpy, or Waffle, or Boss. He's got like all these fucking names. He's my oldest, one of my oldest Twitch followers, and one of my oldest Twitch mods. And as of especially this year, we've become very, very good friends. We were already really good friends, but we started calling and we started hanging out, and our friendship got way more intimate, I think, and just more of a best friendship, as best friends should be. And I just have an insane amount of respect for this dude. And he, you know, the friends that I had in the COD community, or the friends that I had, I guess, in the stream community even, just don't, they kind of fade away after a while, and the friends that I have now are actually just the friends that hang out in my Discord, and it's just a few people, but it's people that I love so dearly, and I'm so thankful to have them. And pretty much anybody in the Discord server that's watching this that remotely actively chats will either be named or will be being thought of in this video. Like, if you're in the Discord and you hang out often, then you're basically on this list. I mean, if not literally, mentally. So you'll be able to tell. But Chimpy is literally one of my best friends I've ever had. He's such a good guy. Which leads me to Zues. Zues is once again one of my best friends. He's kind of anal. He's you know, Zues, you're a fucking, you're a handful sometimes, but nevertheless, you're a great dude, and I'm glad that you're there as another one of my great friends that I can talk to whenever I feel the need to. I appreciate your existence. I appreciate your being there. Your attendance, I suppose. I want to thank Nick. Nick was actually super late on the list last year, which I'm actually pissed off about, because Nick is obviously one of my favorite people I've ever met. That's nicknamed on Twitch. He's a streamer that I practically met by mistake, and now all of a sudden we've already known each other for like, what, 2, almost 3 years maybe? And it's just, it's actually like depressing how time flies, but I don't regret a moment of it, and I feel like me and Nick have definitely been distant lately, but I still appreciate him more than he probably fucking realizes at all. And I still have so much respect in my heart for that dude. And I wish him the best, and fucking whoever blows up first is taking each other with each other. What? He's definitely somebody I have in my heart at all times. He's a wonderful dude, and I expect big things from him. I see a lot of potential in him, and I'm sure it's probably likewise. And I just hope to collaborate with him artistically someday, and to create a lot of beautiful things, and fucking just, most of all, just hang out and not give a fuck, and just be there for each other, you know? I want to thank John, or Bippy, because, you know, honestly, we haven't really talked much this year, unfortunately, but I love him. He's probably the best friend I ever had, and I seriously miss him, and every time I think about him, I feel like he's probably just, wherever he is, wherever he goes, I just know that beauty and wonder, and I guess just a natural sense of content and warmth and happiness will follow him wherever he goes. Wherever he journeys, good things will follow. And I just have so much respect for him, and I'd never doubt him for a second. And he is one of the most beautiful and honorable friends I've ever had, if not the most. And once again, we haven't talked in a very long time, and me and John can go very, very long periods without talking. But he always pops into my mind. I'm always thinking about him. I'm always missing him. And I know that sometimes friends grow apart. Sometimes life takes us in different directions. Sometimes we just need to be our individual selves. And that's been the case, I think, very much so with me and John, is I don't think it's as much that we grew apart, it's more that we just are so caught up in our own lives and just being individuals and figuring out what the fuck we're gonna do with our lives and working on that so hard, blood, sweat, and tears. And whenever I think of him, I know that he's okay. And he's always there for me, and I'm always there for him. So, John, on the off chance that you see this, brother, I love you, dude. I hope you're well. I am totally confident that you are. And you know where to find me. I want to thank Mallowed for being one of the only people in the COD community that still actually fucking interacts with me. I pretty much lost all of my COD community friends. I didn't really have that many to begin with, I guess, did I? But Mallowed has been there for years. We've known each other for years. Mallowed's overall, he's a pretty great dude, and he's a very helpful guy, and he's on his way to succeeding me in Osu, and I have pretty much nothing but respect for him, and I wish him all the best in growth and prosperity. And on that note, I want to thank Tom, or Jkrs, for being the only other dude in the community that I still remotely communicate with. Once again, I have insane respect for Tom. Can't even really be emphasized. He's such an inspiration. He's such a great artist. His vision is so beautiful. I love everything that he creates. It's always awesome. It's always like just exhilarating to watch whatever he makes. So cheers, Jkrs. Respect to you. I want to thank Benny. Benny was one of the best friends I ever had. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. I've lost a few friends in the community before, in different ways, varying ways. And earlier this year, Benny unfortunately deactivated his Twitter and just kind of went ghost on everybody, and nobody knows what happened to him. At least not to my knowledge. My first instinct is that he's alright, at least, at least he's not, at least it wouldn't seem that he's dead, which is great, because, I mean, anybody that has their Twitter deactivated probably did it themselves, so I'm sure he just probably decided to go AWOL in the community, which I respect, but I just wish he would have said something on his way out. He was literally one of the best friends I've ever had, and me and Benny had the most euphoric, we stayed up all night talking to each other sometimes on Twitter, and he was just one of the dearest friends I've ever had, and I just have so much love, respect, and adoration for him. And wherever he goes, I wish him the best. And I know he definitely won't see this. I don't know, wherever you are, Benny, I miss you so much, dude. And I regret so much that I never got to collab with you. I wanted to so badly, and now it really seems like that's never going to happen, and I regret that. And I love you, man. And I hope you're staying safe. I hope that you have found peace wherever you are, and I hope your journeys are filled with, laughter and joy and beauty. You deserve it. That brings me to my last most important person that I want to thank is Pidgy. Pidgy is one of the most unique, wondrous artists I've known, and he's been such a heavy inspiration to me. And not only that, but he has been such a wonderful friend to me. You know, I was kind of a fanboy of his back in the day, and then we eventually just started talking. I don't even know how, and he's actually been one of the kindest people I've ever met in the community. And he's not even really in the community anymore. He's just an artist. He's a 3D artist on his own, and I have an insane amount of respect for him. And he just inspires me to be my best creative self, and he inspires me to, he's continually he's continually inspiring me to chase new ideas, and I can't think of the word, but I guess he's just inspiring me to learn 3D and kind of chase after that. And been an interesting process, but I think that I will someday create something that I think he'll like, and that means a lot to me. I want to thank Koasty. Once again, Koasty. I mean, me and Koasty, that's one of those things where I can't remember if it was 2019 where me and Koasty had the most interactions, or if it was 2020. I think it was both, and that's where it gets hard, because I appreciate Koasty so much. He's such a wonderful dude. And it's been, as of this moment, it's been a little while since we had an actual, like, kind of respectable interaction that's to be noted, you know? But I have an infinite amount of respect for Koasty. He's such an amazing OC player, and he's an absolutely amazing streamer. And I'm absolutely totally so grateful and glad to be friends with such an awesome dude. I want to thank Chazarz, not really a friend of mine, not even really an acquaintance, but just a YouTuber that I follow, for inspiring me without even doing anything. He just inspired me throughout this year to launch my own endeavors, and be creative and find my path, and kind of learn to accept and do what I want to do, even if nobody else gives a shit about what I want to do. That he's kind of helped in that front in some ways. I want to thank Wechh, or Nick, or Ash, I guess, for being one of my permanent Call of Duty clients. I mean, he quit the COD community for the majority of this year, but he was my client a couple times at the beginning of the year, which I would just like to thank him for that. Once again, we don't really interact anymore. We're definitely not, like, as friendly, or we're not, like, as good of friends as we used to be. We don't really talk anymore, but I would just like to thank him for hiring me to edit for him, and it has been a wonderful pleasure to edit for him, and it's been great. And lastly, I want to thank Etek. It's the most unlikely person. Actually, there's a couple more people on here. I want to thank Tommy and ChimpGhosti. There's a couple people of my stream viewers who I just wanted to throw in there, because, and there's a couple more, like, if you're watching this, like Skinny Wacky, Jay, Kolsu, and SG, and who else? LilStuffies, Igor. There's a bunch of really awesome people that are just Conor, or Mint, and there's just a lot of amazing people that I have in my community. I'm just so glad to have met their acquaintance and be kind of buddy with a lot of my viewers. It's been a privilege. But I want to thank Etek lastly, because Etek is one of the dudes who, Etek, obviously I mentioned him earlier. He is somebody who influenced me to come back he influenced me to want to come back to editing for teams, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm definitely thinking on planning to do that, and that sounds like something that's definitely more than possible now, to come back to editing for teams just for the sake of editing. And I expect that I will be collaborating in some way with Etek sometime next year, because I mean, he's not an editor, he's a leader, but I mean collaborating in the sense of asking him to hire me to do something, or not hire me, but because I don't think I'd ask it of him to pay me, and he wouldn't anyway, but probably. Yeah, so that's about it. I love how I said this was going to be shorter and sweeter, but it's about the exact same time that it took to record the last one. This has been an interesting year. I definitely probably left out a lot of details, but like I said, and I didn't write any of this down except the names, so it was really just completely improvised, and I just kind of talked about everything that came to my mind about what happened this year. But it has been an interesting year. I know there's been a lot of hardships for most people, and I had my own kind of battles to fight, even if it wasn't COVID related. But I wish everybody the best of luck, and I again thank you all to the people I named, and you guys really have no idea how much you actually mean to me. And don't worry, I don't need it to be a certain day for it doesn't need to be Thanksgiving for me to fucking say who I'm thankful for. If you kind of catch my drift, you guys know how much you mean to me. Or I mean, you know that, maybe not how much, but you know that I heavily respect you, because I make it apparent at every turn possible. So thank you guys again. It's been an interesting year. Wish me luck for next year. Thanks for sticking with me if you do. Regardless, I'm just doing things on my own accord. I'm doing things for me. And stay tuned. This next year could be something interesting for everybody else. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you for an interesting year. Thank you to my friends again, of course, and good luck everybody on next year. It's like the next level in a game. Best of luck everybody, and I wish you all prosperity and progression and peace and love. And I will see you soon.